It's funny how quickly opinions can change in just a matter of weeks. About a month ago, I made yet another video coming to the defense of Lonzo Ball. Now, at the time, and really to be honest, for most of his career, Lonzo Ball has taken nothing but criticism. Around late January, fans and media in New Orleans were yelling about the Pelicans, saying that it was time to blow up this roster. Trade Lonzo Ball, trade JJ Redick, trade Eric Bledsoe, fire Stan Van Gundy, start over. Now, I don't mind trading JJ Redick. I don't mind trading Eric Bledsoe. But firing Stan Van Gundy at this point is just preposterous. And trading Lonzo Ball is non-negotiable. I said all of this in that video about a month ago, but I'm going to take it a step further today. Lonzo Ball is the most important piece on the Pelicans roster. Now, I'm sure a lot of you out there are going to disagree with me, think that I've lost my mind, but it's the truth. Lonzo Ball is the key in New Orleans, not Brandon Ingram, not Zion Williamson. The Pelicans are going to go as far as Lonzo Ball takes them. Well, the Pelicans are 15-19 and outside of the playoff picture, so Lonzo Ball is taking them nowhere. The problem in New Orleans is not Lonzo Ball. He's just the one who is taking most of the blame for it when things go bad. He's the one taking most of the blame for the slow start of the season, their horrendous January. The problem in New Orleans is the bench and the defense. Or I should say the lack of defense anyway, because the Pelicans are one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. Lonzo Ball, on the other hand, is a good defender. Stan Van Gundy just hasn't been able to get the rest of the roster to buy in defensively. But right now, that's okay because things like that take time. Sometimes I feel like I repeat myself a lot on here, but I'm going to repeat myself again. The Pelicans are a young team. Stan Van Gundy has been their coach for just a few months. We have nothing but time in New Orleans to watch this young core develop. It's not like the Pelicans are contending for the NBA Finals this season. It's Zion Williamson's second year in the NBA. We've got Brandon Ingram locked in long term. And hopefully this summer, we'll get Lonzo Ball locked in long term. Because if David Griffin decides to be stubborn, doesn't get Lonzo locked in New Orleans long term, it's going to be yet another disastrous decision by the Pelicans. One thing you have to succeed in the NBA is chemistry. Most people think that you have to have a roster that's loaded with superstars. Now, while that definitely helps, doesn't hurt, it definitely helps, it's not 100% true. Now, I'm not saying you don't need superstar level players to be a playoff team, but there's more than one way in the NBA to win. Plus, I feel like the Pelicans have three players anyway that can be stars in this league. Now, the Detroit Pistons in the mid-2000s, they didn't have a Kobe Bryant. They didn't have a LeBron James. They didn't have a Dwayne Wade. They had a starting five of what most people considered role players. You know what the Pistons had, though, in the mid-2000s? They had a starting five and a bench that had chemistry. They liked playing together. They played well together. And the Pelicans had that with Brandon Ingram, Zion, and Lonzo Ball. These guys like playing with each other. And that's important. When you stumble upon something like that, you don't blow it up. You keep it together and you develop it. Brandon Ingram has stated on multiple occasions that he enjoys playing with Lonzo Ball. More importantly, Zion Williamson, the guy New Orleans is building the franchise around, said he wants to continue playing with Lonzo. And he's even come to his defense several times publicly. And I think that Lonzo Ball wants to remain in New Orleans after this season. Why this is still a question mark for the front office keeping Lonzo Ball, it confuses the hell out of me. It seems to me the Pelicans front office views Lonzo Ball the same way that the fans do at times. Now, I'm not sure why he is such a polarizing player. Probably has a lot to do with his dad hyping him up before he even dribbled on an NBA court. But I've noticed something with fans and the media when it comes to Lonzo Ball, kind of a trend, if you will. He'll have a bad shooting night or a bad game, And that's all that people will talk about. That's all that they'll remember. They won't remember the 5 or 6 games before that he dominated. He will have one bad game. Pelicans will lose, and the trade Lonzo talks heat right back up. You have Stephen A. Smith on ESPN the other day saying that LaMelo Ball is the player that we all thought Lonzo Ball was going to be. That's the type of stuff from the media that I'm talking about. And to Lonzo Ball's credit, it doesn't seem to bother him as much this season as it has in the past. When you really think about it, Lonzo Ball hasn't really been set up for success in the NBA. Before he was even drafted, his dad was on every talk show in America, hyping him up to be the next Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, putting unfair expectations on him. Then he gets drafted to the Lakers, which made his spotlight even brighter. LeVar Ball, his father, is courtside just about every game, keeping his name in the media. Lonzo Ball would have been better off being drafted somewhere like New Orleans, where he could develop without a national spotlight on him. He finally gets to New Orleans, begins to get comfortable, begins to, get into a rhythm. Then the Kobe hits. Then he goes through another coaching change this offseason. When we talk about young quarterbacks in the NFL, what's one of the biggest hindrances to their development? Constant coaching changes, constant changing of offensive systems. It's no different for point guards in the NBA. They are the quarterbacks of their team. Lonzo Ball's been in the NBA for 4 years. He's played for 3 different head coaches in 4 years, 3 different offensive systems. It's been a constant change. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Alvin Gentry had the Pelicans in a run and gun offensive system last season. Get the ball past half court in 2 to 3 seconds, shooting the ball with 16, 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Everything was quick. It resulted in a lot of long-distance alley-oops between Lonzo Ball and Zion Williamson. Now, this season, on the other hand, Stan Van Gundy has slowed the offense down. It's more methodical. He wants Lonzo shooting more threes. Zion Williamson is being used more as a ball handler. And at times, Lonzo Ball's playing off the ball. All of this takes time to develop into a well-oiled machine. It's not going to happen in 3 months. I realize most are against David Griffin signing Lonzo Ball to a max contract this offseason. And honestly, David Griffin may be against doing that at this point. I don't know. But let me ask you this. If you get rid of Lonzo Ball, who are you going to replace him with? You can't trade for another star point guard. The Pelicans don't have the assets to acquire one. A team isn't going to trade a reliable starting point guard for J.J. Redick or Eric Bledsoe. It's just not going to happen. So who do you bring in to replace Lonzo Ball if you want to get rid of it? Some will say you just draft another one. But that's always a crapshoot in the NBA. Plus, the Pelicans need experience. They don't have time to draft and develop a rookie point guard. They need to be setting themselves up to win over the next couple of years. Plus, trading Lonzo Ball is not going to fix one of the biggest problems on this roster in New Orleans. And I'm talking about the bench. The Pelicans' bench sucks. And most nights, it's the reason that they're playing from behind. The starting 5 will build a lead early on. Second unit comes in, gives it right back. Now, earlier I mentioned Stan Van Gundy taking a lot of heat along with Lonzo Ball so far this season. And look, I don't know if Stan Van Gundy is the right coach for this Pelicans team. The jury's still out. It's too early to tell. I do know that he did one hell of a job developing a similarly young team in Orlando 10 or 15 years ago. When Stan Van Gundy arrived in Orlando back in 2007, Dwight Howard in his 3rd season. Same with Jameer Nelson. The Magic had a young roster. They're remembered mostly for their offense, their 3-point shooting. But Stan Van Gundy developed that roster into one of the best defenses in the NBA. They were actually number 1 in defensive rating one year. It is unrealistic to think that he's going to walk into New Orleans and have this team playing great or elite defense in 3 months. The Pelicans show flashes of great defense. The problem is they don't play it for a full 48 minutes. Bottom line is, David Griffin needs to do everything in his power to keep Zion Williamson happy. And Zion flourishes when he shares the court with Lonzo Ball. In the month of February, the pair have an offensive rating of 128.6, which ranks near the top of the NBA. But if you don't keep Zion happy, if you don't keep him surrounded with guys that he has chemistry with, that he likes to play with, if you don't keep him involved with personnel decisions, then you're going to have a repeat of the Anthony Davis situation in New Orleans, where you have 6 or 7 years to build around your franchise player, and you essentially waste it. And look, it could happen anyway. Zion could reach a point where he feels like he's outgrown New Orleans, kind of like Dwight Howard felt when he outgrew Orlando. But if you're David Griffin, that doesn't mean you don't try. One simple way right now to keep Zion Williamson happy is to re-sign Lonzo Ball this offseason. Trade J.J. Redick and Eric Bledsoe to clear up the cap space and get it done. And while you're at it, fix the damn bench. Please fix this bench in New Orleans. Now, what do you guys think? The past month, has Lonzo Ball proven himself? Do you think that he has done enough to have the Pelicans re-sign him this offseason? Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.